Good evening. Welcome to my page. Dave here, giving a first half update of how the Cubs did. As you know, a lot of you probably know they went 55 and 38, so 93 games into the season, and they pulled ahead of the Brewers a 2.5 game lead. So pretty happy about that, especially with some of the ups and downs to finish at a peak, 17 games above 500. Very happy with that outcome. So Cubs are on a roll right now, and they finished with a 3 game sweep over San Diego. They had a couple Cubs that were in the home run derby, Schwarber and Baez. They both did very respectable. Baez hit 16 home runs the first round. He had a 479-foot home run. I believe that was the farthest home run. Came up one short of advancing to the next round. Schwarber was unbelievable, hit 55 total home runs, several over that 430 feet mark that they give you a bonus for either 430, 440. So you get extra time you need to do that. He made the championship. It looked like he was going to beat Bryce Harper. Some controversy with him going last. It was debatable if the pitches are being thrown before the balls hit the ground or left too. So he may have hit a little bit too quick, but still pretty amazing contest. By Schwarber represented the home run derby very nicely, well deserved. I mean, they hit 19 and 18 home runs the first half. I hope they can do the same this half. We need it. And then in the All-Star game, you had Baez, who was the leadoff guy, believe it or not. And first pitch, he gets a hit off Chris Sale, 99.4 miles per hour. I think I read he only hit like 3 or 4 that fast. So he's capable. I like to see more of that going on. And then Contreras, he didn't bat till ninth in the order. When he got up, he had a home run, his first pitch. So pretty cool. Those guys definitely represent it. The Chicago Cubs in the National League. Lester was voted or picked an All-Star, well deserved. He chose not to play since he pitched a couple days before and be ready after the All-Star break too. So we kind of put the book in the first half. The big trade that came out was Machado. There were some rumors early on that Cubs would try to go after him, get a shortstop, maybe trade Russell. Russell's been doing pretty good, and he's got 3.5 years of team control. I think I read Russell like batting 298 the last 14 games. So I think Cubs feel pretty good about at least keeping him this year, or kind of go from there, and maybe not ruining the chemistry of the position players. But we'll see. They may get the right offer for a pitcher and go for that. Machado did go to competition, was in the Brewers, so that helps the Cubs' chances of winning the division even better. Did go to the Dodgers, so that should help the Dodgers. And they gave up 4 prospects, so it didn't cost them any It didn't cost them any guys on the roster right now. And their shortstop's injured anyway, and he's a rental. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when he's a free agent. Cubs could potentially try to get him then, but then they have a logjam and have to trade one of their position players. But we'll see what happens. But for like this year, it could help the Dodgers. But I'd like to see Cubs beat them again. They didn't beat them last year, but the year before. It's been a pretty good rival between the Cubs and the Dodgers, making 3 NL Championship Series in a row. And then this year they played 7 times, and Cubs beat them 4 out of 7 times. So I was pretty proud of that. Both teams have their share of injuries, but Cubs are, they got all their position players back. As far as like pitchers, Darvish is a question mark. At this point, I wonder if they're just going to wait till September 1st, but it's such a long ways away. Maybe they have a pitcher coming, and then what they could do is they wouldn't have to make a decision on, cutting someone, or because all their pitchers. I think Hendricks is the only one with minor league options, but I doubt they'd want to send him to the minors. So September 1st, maybe Darvish will come back. The big rumor is DeGrom and Syndergaard. That would be unbelievable. I'm sure it would take a lot of prospects. I'm not sure Cubs would be willing to trade position players they have in the now, like your Haps or your Russells, uh, too. And then they have some pitchers, mainly at the Double A, Single A, lower levels that could make the rotation in a couple years. So I don't know if they want to give up on those guys, but we do have some guys, out there. Maybe a Ryan Court, Segunis a 400 on base percentage. Maybe Taylor Davis. A catcher, first baseman that hitting close to 300. So we do have some guys in the farm system. I know a lot of reports say our farm system's depleted, which every year when you trade for prospects, we got Chapman, we got Quintana. You're going to give up some guys like the one that stands out is that Torres for the Yankees. He got injured, but he's voted an All-Star. And then Jimenez for the White Sox is doing really good in AAA, and he should be making the team, I would think, if not this year, next year. Dylan Cease is in AA, but he's putting up pretty good numbers. So probably some of the more likely targets, there's this J.A. Happ. Number-wise, he's like 4.29 ERA. He's been amazing in the past, but he would be a rental. Maybe he's someone that could replace Darvish for now, and then if he does good enough, then they can make a decision on Chatwood if they put him in the bullpen, or do they just give up on him? It seems kind of early, year 1 out of 3 in his contract. Maybe they wait till next year and kind of deal with him or move him in the. It's hard to be optimistic about him. Because it keeps getting worse. I mean, his first month he was in the 3 ERA, even though he walked a lot of guys. He's walking close to a batter per inning, and then things just keep getting worse. Whereas the ERA is like 5.10 right now. So things have been kind of quiet on the trade rumor forums, and I try to stick to the legitimate sources to look at. But one thing, Theo does keep things fairly quiet. To like this Quintana, I don't think anyone was really talking about getting Quintana last year, and I'm pretty happy with that, because without him, we would have needed a third free agent pitcher, and who knows? I mean, we haven't got lucky this year with the Chatwood and Darvish, but so at least we got Quintana. So we start Cubs baseball again, starting on Thursday at 6 p.m. We have a 5-game series in 4 days against Cardinals. They're going through a little bit of turmoil with their head coach. Matheny got fired. It was kind of surprising because they're a little bit above 500, but there are some issues where he's not relating to his team. We hear reports that he's not really talking to Fowler. I know he's having a down year, but I don't understand why you would just ignore him. He's like one of the greatest guys that you can ever talk to, but that's him. And then I heard some reports of some bullying, one pitcher bullying another pitcher, and he's not really doing anything about it. So I didn't like hearing that. So hopefully Cubs can take advantage of some of the turmoil going on. They have a new interim coach for now. It'd be nice to really put the Cardinals completely away too. I think they're like 7.5 back right now or something like that. They can completely put them away, and they could be in seller mode. I don't know if they would trade us one of their good players. Probably not. But the pitching lineup has been announced, and they're going to go at Hendricks on Thursday and then Lester on Friday. Saturday is a doubleheader, and the order hasn't been determined, but it's going to be Chatwood and Montgomery. And then the 5th pitcher is Quintana. So it's kind of interesting, too. I don't know the method of the madness, but I have been happier with Quintana and Hendricks' pitching lately. I like to see him get back up to capabilities who really need them. We can't trade for 3 or 4 pitchers. I mean, likely we're probably looking at maybe one starter if we do it. And then there's some rumors of some relievers. There's Hand from San Diego. There's Britton from Baltimore. Have potential, but I got to tell you, I'm pretty pleased with the bullpen overall. I mean, they're going to have struggles when we play a lot of days in a row and the starters don't go deep. But we even have other resources like Bass, who had a .63 ERA and then he got hurt. Well, he did a rehab start for Iowa and he pitched a scoreless inning. So he's a good resource. There's Dakota Makes, that career-wise is like in a low 1 ERA, working his way up fast, doing pretty good for Iowa. He could be a potential closer. So, I mean, if you don't have to give up a whole lot, too, then it makes sense. You can uh, bring in, another reliever that, especially if they have the caliber of being a past closer, too, it improves the team. And then you have September call-ups. So, I mean, right now in for Chicago, the Iowa call-ups that we have is Rosario. That's under a 2 ERA and really got us out of some high leverage situations. And then we have Norwood right now, so we have those two guys who you could send down. Another guy, Butler, has been rehabbing. It's my understanding he has no options, so I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks they have to decide. Probably 2 weeks that he either has to come back to Chicago or you have to DFA him. Uh, they're not paying him a whole lot more than league minimum anyway. So if he's not getting the job done, then too, it's part of the business. He helped us out last year, but been struggling quite a bit as he's rehabbing in Iowa, getting rocked. I think he has like 11 ERA in like 3 or 4 appearances, so it hasn't been very good. But hopefully we get some more exciting news coming up for trade deadlines. It's the 31st. It's a deadline. Keep in mind, even after that, too, there's, guys in the waiver wires, things like that. Last year we picked up a backup catcher, which actually ended up working out pretty good because unfortunately Contreras got injured. He was out for a good 6 weeks. So between him and Alex Avila, he did really well in his absence. So it got us through. It worked out pretty good. But right now I like our backup catcher, Caratini. He's been doing pretty well. So I think Cubs have a pretty good chance of winning the division. It looks like right now with Dodgers getting Machado, that's more competition as a team to beat. I think we just need to address, getting the pitchers we have better and then replacing Chatwood. As far as other options in Iowa, they're not very good with their best arm. Adbert out for the year with an injury. Some of these guys like Underwood, Mills, their ERAs are like close to 5. There's one guy, Trevor Clifton, that had under a 3 ERA for Tennessee, and his ERA is somewhere around 3.5 for Iowa since his promotion, about 8 games. I'm thinking maybe we do need a guy to pitch on Monday because since we're pitching 5 starters in 4 days, not enough rest. Maybe a guy like Trevor Clifton could be called up. Ideally, it'd be nice to have that trade and plug in a guy there. But potential, another guy is that Luke Farrell. He started one time and he started one game for Chicago, didn't do too well, but he's been doing decent for Iowa when they start him, and so they're kind of stretching him out. So he's a potential for Monday. So we'll see. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. A lot less days off going forward, and so it's going to be a grind, but hopefully a fun grind. I think the schedule's fairly favorable. Cubs are pretty good at home. So it should be a good second half. And I look forward to watching the game tomorrow night, having a good report, and hopefully we get some good reports on a trade coming up the next week or two, if not sooner. Go Cubs, go!